Shannon from Creative Chaos in Tennessee, and today I'm back with my DIY Copycat flower series. Today we are making roses. These are going to be a little bit different. I'm going to show you my tape. There's a lot of ways to do it. I kind of showed it in another video that I did, but I'm going to try to do a little more in-depth for this one. And also, I'm going to attempt to put one on a stem for y'all because there's been several people that's messaged me and asked if I could show that. But let's just get to it. Okay, so there's lots of ways you can do it. You can cut things off your Cricut. You can draw out your own shape and cut them out. You can use a die. Excuse me. But ultimately, each one's going to give you a little bit different look. It really depends on what size you want, how tall you want them, you know, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so with these over here that I did, these are die that I used, and this is the die. Pretty much what you're going to go for is a 5-petal flower. And you can use any of them that makes 5-petal. I like these. These are die that I did get on Temu. But there's other ones out there. But these I like because they're super low profile. Hopefully y'all can see that because I can't see in the camera. But I added these, of course, but, you know, you could totally use these on a page, or a card. They're really flat. Some of my favorite ones are these, and they are higher, and, these are more suited. I mean, you could use them on a page, but they're more suited for, like, a shadow box, decor type stuff. You could use it as a bag topper if you're dressing stuff up, you know, to gift to someone. You know, party, if like you can make a whole vase of them and put them on a stem. Lots of options. You know, I was trying to think of other things you could do, but my mind is just like blank. But y'all get the point. So my inspiration was my own rose. I've grown roses for a lot of years, but this season I actually bought a rose, and it is gorgeous. It's the most expensive plant I have ever bought because I paid like $40 for a rose bush, but it's a climber, and I bought it to go across my arch that I built. And it is like the most gorgeous flowers I've ever seen, and they're so pretty. And I can't wait for it to fill out even more, but I'll put a picture up there. And that was my inspiration for this. Now, how many layers that you want is going to depend on how full it looks and how tall it gets. This one has 5 layers. This one has 6, just because I wanted the center more closed. You could do all different types of roses. You could do them, you know, folded the other way versus that way. But to make these, I used this punch. And like I said, hopefully y'all can see that because I can't see. You know, you just use as many layers as you want. Now, pretty much, to personalize them, that's where you add your ink, and which way you fold them. All that's going to determine what kind of look you get. So, let me actually do this one first. This is the, sorry, let me pull up my sleeves. Oh, it was freezing in here a while ago, and now it's getting warm. The air will probably kick back on in a minute. I use these tools if you've watched my other flower ones. This is, I don't know, something I stole from my ex-husband. A scriber, I think is what it's called. But I do have these tools. They're McGill. They're really old. And these, it comes with a set of 3. I don't know if these are still available. These are, I don't know, probably 10 years old, maybe older. And I got these in the mat. It came together after watching Anna Fear. And she made the most gorgeous paper flowers, and that's how I learned how to make them. She used to do classes and all that way back in the day. And I'll try to link her YouTube channel if she still has one. I'm not sure. But she was known as More Paper Than Shoes on Etsy. She had a shop. She sold a lot of stuff. And like I said, she did classes and stuff. So, she showed all different flowers. She used to make the big old gigantic ones for like store displays and stuff. Very inspirational, you know, goals. And I used to make flowers and sell them on Etsy, but I like being able to create just for the fun of it. I have so many messages from people saying you should sell, you know, the things, your embellishments, your flowers, all the things you're doing, you should sell them on Etsy. But I don't want to, because it takes the fun out of just being able to create. I don't want to have a deadline or, you know, being critiqued on every little thing. I just want to be able to have fun and create and show other people how to create that stuff. So there's the air kicking on. So pretty much you could do this multiple ways. You could flip it over and you could just do this, and now you could use a pencil. Just trying to think of what else. If you had a dowel, what are they called? A skewer. There we go. Words are not my friend today. But these kind of, the die already has the little ridges in it, you can see somewhat, to kind of form the petals. So this is just giving it a little bit of dimension. Oh my goodness, this kitten's going to be the death of me, y'all. Okay, so I just flip them over and give it a little bit of a press in the center. Now, they have these little tools at Dollar Tree for $1. I've also saw these flower tools at Dollar Tree for $1. You can use these to roll on if you don't have this, like this is thinner, but you could use a skewer for like barbecuing. You could use a pencil. If you had a skinny pen, you could use it. But how, pretty much the thickness of what you're rolling on will determine like what your look of your petal ends up being. Like this one's really small, but like if I rolled with this one, like I'll just give you an example. If I rolled, say I took a pencil, all I had was a pencil. Kitty, you're about to get it. It's going to give you a much fatter roll on your flower versus if you took this one and you're able to wind it around. Like, see how much tighter it looks and how much more bent the petal is. So, but you can do all kinds of things, get different designs. There is no flower just alike in nature. They're all unique, you know, have their own thing, just like people. That's why I love flowers so much. Each one of them so much different. Now, I like to use a hot glue gun. If y'all watched me, y'all know. Be careful, you will burn yourself. I usually burn myself every time I use the glue gun. And my glue stick's not pushing up to go. Come on now, don't mess up. And then you can just take something and press it down if you want to. The tighter you press it down, the more your petals will ruffle up. This one, the reason I really like this is the fact that it has this, the rolled piece to the die also, and the other one, so it's like combining traditional flat flower dye versus the rolled flower, and you're combining them both, and yet the look of what you get is still not huge. Like, you don't have like a really tall profile. So these are great to use on scrapbook pages or cards or whatever. Come on, man. Y'all know if it's going to happen, it's going to happen while I'm trying to make a video. That is so much glue. Woo! And it went flying. It wouldn't be a good flower video if I didn't throw something, right? Okay. So, pretty much you're just gluing that down in the center and creating your middle. Now, you could add stamens to it if you wanted. I've said it before, but these stamens, these ones came from Temu. But you can buy these at Walmart, Hobby Lobby in the bridal section, probably Michael's. They have them in all different colors, different sizes. They have fat ones, skinny ones, pearl ones, you know, whatever. Any look you're going for and want, you can get. And then, pretty much, you're just gluing this one on. See if my glue stick will stay in now. Okay, but see, I mean, look how thin it is. I can't see, so let me stand up. Yeah, see how thin it is? Like, super cute. Now, you could ink the edges. You could even ink it afterwards. Like, I have just a little bit of ink on this brush that's orange. But, you could just hit the edges and just give it a little definition. You could, of course, ink it before you ever start. You could ink the middles to make them, you know, darker like an actual rose is inside. Really, it's just about how much work you want to put into it to, you know, how realistic you want it to look. I don't know if y'all can tell a difference in it, but it's super cute. Here's one that's not inked versus one that is. I don't know if you can tell, but okay. So, and then you can just add a leaf on it. I free-handed these and just bent them. You could totally ink them, whatever. There is dies, leaf dies that come with that die set. Most flower sets do. You can have all kinds of stuff. You can create whole little greeneries. You know, whatever for it. It's just a matter, like I said, of how much work you want to put in, how far you're wanting to go with your look, and how much time you want to spend, because flowers can be very time consuming. Okay, now to create these, I'm going to start with these because I'm going to put these in the center since they're a different color, because I didn't have enough layers with this pattern paper, because this is just scraps. But it don't matter even if it's broke like this, because pretty much you're just going to roll your petal so that you're creating the layered, ruffled rose petal look. Okay, so all of these I will do differently. Okay, so this one I rolled that way, so this one I'm going to just roll this side of it. And, okay, so these are opposite. Then this one, I'm going to roll both sides. I'm going to do all one side first, though. Oh, a toothpick. If you didn't have nothing else skinny, you could totally use a toothpick. I've done that before, too. Pretty much, you're just bending down each side. They don't got to be perfect. Roses are not perfect. You could even go in and take a score tool and score lines in it if you wanted to give it extra. So this one I'm going to do the exact same way. I'm just going to roll both sides of the petal. So as in, just treat it like this is 2 petals on one. So you rolled that side, then you're just going to go back and you're going to roll this side down. Just to give it some definition. Okay, so now since this one's going to be my bottom layer, I'm just going to roll it back into the center. And, I mean, really, you can make these as big or as small as you want. I mean, you can take and roll it tighter, and it'll give you a more defined petal. So, I'm just going to, that one's actually, I rolled it too much. Okay, so I'm just going to do it lightly because it's going to be the bottom. Okay, so then these will go next, and then this one, and then this one, and then we'll work on those. Okay, so pretty much you're just going to glue them together. And if you have a bunch of hot glue at the end on your flower and you don't want to sit there and try to pick it all off, just hit it with the heat gun for a second and it'll zap them all away and you won't have to deal with them. And pretty much you're just staggering your petals on the inside. And actually, I should have left the bottom one off. Let's see if I can pull it off. If I'm going to put it on a stem, I need to leave the bottom one off for now. Okay, so now I have these. These are going to become my center. So I want to jazz these up just a little bit. So I'm just going to ink the edges a little. And this one's just using orange, so you'll have a good little color differential. And I like to do both sides just because whenever you're rolling your petals and adding them up in the center, it will show some. And then I'm just going to color that center. So it'll make it a little bit darker, looking like a real rose. And I'm just using Distress Oxide ink to do this. But if you was gonna, you could even spritz it with water and it'll give you a more defined petal. But if you're going to add the water, then don't use the Distress Oxide. Use like the Distress inks or your regular inks that don't mix well with water. Okay, so now pretty much I am just going to, I'm going to curl these to one side. Okay, and then I'm going to do this one. I'm going to curl it the other side of it. Let me know if y'all are enjoying these flower videos. I want to thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. My last flower video didn't have a whole lot of views, so I'm wondering if it's worth continuing, if anyone's even interested in watching it. So y'all let me know, and if y'all have any other flowers. I have one more flower in the series planned. I was just doing them each Wednesday in July, so there'll be one after this. So, but I could continue it if there's interest, if anyone's interested in me continuing and doing a different flower. Okay, So I like to just squeeze these together at the bottom to help draw them together like an actual rose, like how it buds up. And just bend it some. Now, in an actual rose, once it actually opens up, you have the little stamens inside with the pollen. So I'm just going to take my tool and poke a hole, and I'm going to add some of these stamens. Now, I took these and just, y'all saw me do it before, and I usually burn myself every time. But I just gather them up. I like to usually use an odd number. This one has 5. So then I just put a little dot of glue on the center. Wait for it to cool for a second. I just roll them together a little bit. And then I just take my finger and roll it together until it's all good. And then I just take my scissors and I cut that in half, and then that makes 2. That I can use that for 2 different flower centers. There's another gnat. Oh my word. Okay, so I'm just going to put one of these down in here in this hole I made, and I do this before I glue the last ones on so that you can hide it. Oh, there went the glue stick again. It just does not want to stay in this glue gun. What is the problem? I don't know what is wrong. Okay, so I'm going to leave them standing up a little bit, but I want to smush my flour together so that the glue stuck to my finger. Okay. But pretty much I want to smush it up together, and then that way the glue will hold it down there and keep it together. And you can reposition your petals. There's also another way that you can make your center so that it looks more petal-like. Let me finish this and I'll show you the other little hack. And then I just snip that off because it's glued to the inside of there. Okay, so then I'm just going to glue this one in. And remember to keep alternating your petals. And to make sure you get glued good, you could press it down with something in there. That way you don't stick your finger in the glue and burn yourself. Don't ask me how I know. Okay, now, I'm trying to get glue strands off and smacking everything around. Okay, so then you're just going to add this in. And voila, you have your rose. Look how pretty. Can y'all see that? Hopefully. I'll show you better at the end, and of course close-ups. Okay, now, normally this wouldn't have already been glued on because I would have known better. Y'all wanted to show how to put it on a stem. Now, I don't have any floral wire, but the little green long floral wire, you can usually get it at like the Dollar Tree or whatever. I don't have any. I have some of this left from way back in the day when we used to do swaps to exchange different colored wire and, you know, ribbon and all kinds of stuff. So I just doubled this up because it's not very strong. And these flowers are, you know, they're paper, so they're a little heavy. But pretty much all you're going to do is you're going to poke a hole. Normally it'd be easier because you wouldn't have glue already on it. But pretty much you're just going to poke a hole, and then you're going to put your wire through, and then you're just going to bend it over. Now, since I have this doubled up, I'm going to bend it 2 separate ways. And that's pretty much, you're going to have your wire, and then you would bend it over. Okay, and then, and it's of course a lot more sturdy than this little bitty rinky-dink wire. But I'm using what I got so I can show y'all. But just add some glue over top of your wire, and then you're just going to add your rose back onto it. So that's why you want to leave the bottom petal up. or off, I mean, sorry. And then just give it a minute so it can grab a hold of it and dry a little bit before you start pulling and tugging on it. Okay, so now we have it on a wire. Actually, well, it don't hold up very well at all. It needs floral wire, but I don't have it. I've used them all, and I never bought any more because I got out of doing this. But I do have some floral tape. So then you just get floral tape. I bought this from the Dollar Tree. I used to have tons and tons. I still have a bunch of rolls left. But you can take even a punch if you have, you know how you have like, hang on, okay, right back. Okay, so you can even take like these, if you have like this punch, it's just a small one, or a snowflake punch. I use it for flowers to make the centers, if I don't have like stamens and stuff. And I think this punch is stuck. Oh, pooey. Okay, so we're going to do this one. Change of plans already. Okay, so pretty much I'm just going to punch this out. And then, you know, normally your wire would be sharp enough to poke a hole with it, but it's not. So we're just going to use this little thingy-mabobber, whatever it's called. Y'all know what I mean. And put this on so that it looks like, you know, the base that your rose is blooming out of. This wire is janky, like it is thin. It's the ones that, you know, we used to, well, if you're a long time scrapper, like we used to write words out of the wire. And that was a thing, you know, because we wanted to use all those wire words on our pages. Yeah, that was really a thing, y'all. I haven't saw that in a long time. Okay, but see, this is pretty much looks like what a rose would actually be blooming out of, the little casing, so to speak, for it. And you can glue it on, you can pull it out some, you know, so that it's not so flat, whatever. Okay, so then all you're going to do is take your floral tape and wind it over. The hard part is getting it started. But pretty much you're just going to build up your, you're just going to keep wrapping to make your stem. Now, as much as you wrap, you want to make sure you're pulling it tight. But as you wrap, you know, it's going to get a little bit thicker. If you wanted it thicker at the top, then you just wrap it a few more times at the top to make it thicker, and then just keep rolling. And this wire is horrible. But y'all can get the idea of what you're supposed to be doing. And just keep going. And then whenever you get to the point where you think you would want a leaf, you're just going to stick it in there and wrap it on. So like this one, I took and fussy cut myself. I just freehanded it and cut a couple out and then bent it just to give it a little bit of dimension. But pretty much you're just going to put it on. And you're just going to wrap it in. Now this wire is not good for this at all. So it might not stay on. But y'all get the idea. So you're just going to keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going, and I'm just going to tear this one off and finish wrapping what's left here, just so we can move on and y'all can see. I don't know if this leaf is going to hold. Nope, it done came off. Dang it. Okay, it's going to get some hot glue. And hot glue will hold it on there just fine. But to give it a nice finished look, you really want to try to wrap it up in the floral tape if you can, to get it to stay on. But okay, we're going to go fast now. This is not correct. Do as I say, not as I do, as I tell my children. To finish wrapping it so that it's nice and neat and not all jacked up. But y'all get the idea. Okay, so then you now have your flower on a stem. And like I said, you can just take your leaf and I'll put some hot glue on it just to give it the leaf. And you can bend it out, whatever, you know. But let me stand up so I can see what y'all see. But here's your rose on a stem. And, you know, if I got glue stuck to my finger. If you had a whole bunch of these would be beautiful, you know, to set in a jar or whatever. You could, like I said, do a shadow box. You could totally do the bottoms of them. I just use one-sided paper, but if you use double-sided or you use colored cardstock, you know, the bottom of your petals, which I did on these two that I put in, you know, they'd be, sorry, it's all over the place on focusing, but it would be colored and you wouldn't have to worry about it showing on the bottom. But it'd be really pretty in a vase. I did, like, I don't even know how many vases of these roses in different colors, and like pink, black, and white for my older daughter's Sweet 16 party. So, there's that. My video is getting a little long. Okay, so let me show you the one other thing real quick, the other way that you can fix the centers of your rose to give it a more closed look, like for a bud. Let's see if I can get a partial. Okay. I don't have enough right now punched out to be able to make another whole one, but I'll give y'all the gist of it. Okay, so pretty much, you know, you're going to fold like I showed y'all, roll them up, just folding your petals over, and then doing it the exact same way. Okay, so the center, you're just pulling it up. I'm about to get a kitty cat. He is at the top of my curtain rod. My kitten, he just pulled down a curtain. I am going to hurt him. Ugh. Not really, but he's having to be taught because he is something else. Okay, so to make the center part, what I like to do is I fold these over, but to get a tight bud look, I cut one of these out. Or you could even cut, well, I'll cut one of them out since it's 5 petals. But to make it even tighter, you could even cut 2 of these off. So then all you're going to do is take and glue this, pull this up and glue this together. Like this. So then you have the 3 leaves. And then as these come together, then of course you would put your stamens in. And I'll finish, oh gosh. Don't do that. I'll finish these off camera just to give you a finished product in the pictures afterwards. But you're just going to go ahead and add your stamens to this. My glue gun's not wanting to work. And like I said, you could even take that snowflake punch if you have something like this that has the little, you know, individual things on it, and then just bunch up like 3 or 4 of them and bend them up, and you have a center for your flower. So, in whatever color you wanted. And then, of course, like I showed you before, you're just going to cut this off. And I like to cut it a little bit so that you have a more flatter gluing surface. And then I'm just going to glue this on. So, like I said, I don't have enough punched. I'd have to dig out more scraps. But I will put a finished, you know, a finished picture up. But you can get the idea, and it gives you a much tighter bud. And like I said, you could take and cut out 2 and just glue 2 of them together, and then 2 of them together and put them down in there, and it'd give you a real tight bud, and you could just leave the stamens out if you wanted. So, thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. Like I said, I will try to link Anna's YouTube on there. I don't know if she still has it because it's been years and years and years. I know on her personal Facebook, she's still creating. So, thank you guys for watching. Tag me if you guys try these because I would love to see what you end up doing. And until next time, bye y'all.